Heyo, what the heck is going on, YouTube? And in today's video, we are talking about comedy. And as a fair many of you know, comedy is very subjective, right? So we're ranking comedy. That makes no sense if comedy is subjective. You know, an ISTP might be taking out the trash and say, I took out my trash on a Thursday. Isn't that funny? Well, to me, that's not funny. So we're going to rank them how funny I think they are, but also try to be objective as possible. We'll go into witticisms. We'll go into how their cognitive set can help them be funny. And let's fix this so you guys have a better screen of this. So this is my third video on tier list for MBTI, but everyone loves a good tier list. If my Myers-Briggs videos get traction, I'll make more of them. I also have other videos that I'd like to do about Myers-Briggs that I haven't seen done before, personally. But today we're doing this list, so let's jump into it. Let's start off with the tiers. First, we have very funny. This is stellar comedy right here. This is the pinnacle of funny MBTI. At least they could have the most potential. Probably the comedians, the NE-DOMs are going to be up here, you know, so on and so forth. Then we have funny. Get it? Because it's a play on the word funny. You know, maybe a little bit corny of jokes, but they're still funny, you know. Then we have can be funny. You know, they can slide in a joke if they need to, but they might not. You know, this is your middle of the line. Can be funny. Yeah, they can be pretty funny. Sort of funny, so, you know, you're not going to be bored with them, but they're nowhere near up here, right? And then we have, lol, I'm wearing mismatched socks, and they'd find that funny. Not very good comedy, right? So, let's just jump into it. First, we'll start off with the ENTJ, and they are going to be funny. Why funny and not very funny? Here's why. Very much goal-oriented and not really focused on humor. The ENTJ isn't naturally inclined to be funny, or very funny. They're more funny. So they'll slide in jokes when they need to. They're very good at spotting when a witticism can happen in a given moment. Their jokes can be quite funny. They can be sarcastic. A pretty funny personality type. They can't even be comedian level if they decide to pursue that. But for most ENTJs, they're more sitting in this bracket. They can comment on the environment and make good observations, usually with SE, and they can usually point out logical incongruencies. They're fun to debate with. Yes, they can be very funny. Not really a silly person, but they can be funny. So they're going in funny. You have the ISFJ. They're going right here. You're not really going to be bored with them. I remember an ISFJ I knew was watching a movie about a tornado, and they saw a cow on screen, swirling in the tornado, and they were like, "Holy cow!" You know, is that really funny? It's kind of cute, you know. But they have inferior NE, so they're not going to be that funny. But they do try to make jokes with harmonization of FE, so they come across more like cute kind of humor. So they're going in this bracket. ISTP is going up here. Very witty, very funny. They can make very astute observations given their surroundings with auxiliary SE. They can also point out logical incongruencies very fast with dominant TI. And the only thing about them is they aren't really inclined to want to be funny all the time. So yeah, they're pretty funny though. Pretty funny people. This video is probably going to be shorter as well. So ISFP, I'm sorry, man. You're not funny at all. They are the type to say this, I think. You know, because ISFPs are all about fashion, you know. So if they wear mismatched socks, they might make a joke out of it. They have inferior TE, so a lot of their jokes are cute. But they can charm you with their humor, I guess, with dominant FI. They can be funny, I guess. Maybe I could put them in this bracket because they're not in this bracket, but just naturally not the most hilarious, I guess. They'll do what they think is funny, but they don't really have any to make things super funny with FI. So they're going here. Then we have the ESTP, which can be very funny. I'm hesitant to put them there, though. You know what? Sure. A lot of personality types are going to find the ESTP's humor very funny. They have rational thinking, so they are going to be able to point out logical incongruencies very quickly. They're pretty witty people as well. Not very much intellectual humor, but they can make some astute, funny observations, and their reactions to things can be pretty funny. If you've never seen a drunk ESTP before, you need to find yourself one at a bar. They can be pretty funny though, so they're going in that tier. INTP, underrated as fuck. I think they're very funny, super fucking funny. When an INTP develops their any, and they are just espousing, things around them that don't make sense, it is hilarious. Their reactions to things can be pretty funny. They just keep to themselves a lot, so they're not constantly making jokes like the any doms. Yeah. The INTP is going up here. They also make good comedians as well. There's a few INTP comedians that I can't think of, but yes, there are INTP comedians, and they are pretty funny. So cut them some slack. They can be pretty freaking hilarious. ESFJ, I guess they're going here. They have a good sense of humor. I will say that about ESFJ. With child NE, they can sort of observe those observations. They aren't going to be the ones making the jokes, but they will be able to understand a lot of the jokes and have a childlike laugh that goes along with it. So I think that the ESFJ is going there. There's not much else to say. Themselves, they're not really funny, but they're a nice presence to have when there's the pranksters about. ESTJ is also going here. They have that child NE. They could even be up here, to be honest. Not many people know this about the ESTJ, but they can be pretty funny when they're laid back and feel comfortable. Bantering with them can be fun. They can kind of resemble the ENTJ. I actually don't even know who's funnier between these two. It's pretty close, the ENTJ or ESTJ. They're both very funny. Can be, have the potential to be, because NE is a funny function, and the ENTJ doesn't have that. They have something different. So, the ESTJ has some untapped comedy potential. ESTJs, we're waiting for you to make your comedy debut right now. ESFP. There are a lot of ESFP comedians. I don't personally find them the most funny, but there is that one guy, I can't think of his name. They're all about the presentation of their humor. They're good at getting into character. They're good at acting out characters. So, yes, they're going here. They're quite goofy. They're not necessarily... the ESTP and ESFP aren't going to really do witticisms too much. The ESTP maybe a little bit more, but it's very much going to be in the moment observational humor. A lot of people might find them funnier than the ESTP because they relate to people better. So between these two right here, what you might notice is people are laughing more with the ESFP, even though the ESTP is making more jokes. And that's also kind of what goes on with these two down here. But we'll get into them. Yes, so these two are like this, I feel, personally. ENFJ is going right here. ENFJ, is a pretty funny personality type. Yes, they have inferior TI. Yes, they don't have any NE. But since they are constantly assessing people and reading them, and they have a very high FE, a lot of the time what they'll do is they'll save jokes. They'll watch a lot of comedy. They will have this repertoire of jokes that they will come out to alleviate social situations or appear very funny, and they can be witty as well. So they're going here. The ENFJ is pretty damn funny from my own experience. Yeah, we have the ISTJ. Don't really need to talk about this one. I don't think they're capable of making a funny joke. I guess watching how unfunny they are can be quite hilarious. But then again, I'm an NE dom who can find anything hilarious. So yes, the ISTJ is down here. Dominant SI with no FE to even want to make jokes. They just really care about themselves and are reclusive in their own thinking patterns. Yeah, no, inferior NE is not good for them. INFP, they're going here or here. I think they'll go here because they have dominant FI, so they're not going to want to make jokes as much. But they can be here as well. It's interchangeable. I'd put them in the middle, I'd say. So with the INFP, they have that same sort of X factor as the INTP. The only thing about them is that they don't really have that logic to make those off-the-cuff jokes because it's an inferior position, so they don't value it at all. Opposed to the ENFP, who values their TE highly, so they want to make jokes. INFP doesn't really want to do that. They are good when they like you, and then they'll start opening up and making jokes, and they can be funny, but it's nothing that they'll have a natural proclivity for initially. They like to keep to themselves, but conversations with them can be fun, so they can be funny. You're not going to be bored with one. INFJ is going here as well. Higher than the ISFJ, as you can see, because they are intuitive. They can have a pretty damn good sense of humor. Stuff that can alleviate the social situation perfectly. Enough to get others to feel how they want them to feel. It's, emotional intelligence and humor a lot of the time go hand in hand. There are INFJ comedians, I believe. But yes, they can make jokes, they can be witty, they can be funny, but it's not something that comes naturally to them most of the time. They'd rather just think about things themselves or make funny observations alone or with someone they care about. So they're going here. They can be funny. INTJ is probably stuck in the bracket between these two as well. INTJ can be very funny. Very witty, dare I say charming? I don't. But yes, INTJs are pretty damn funny. I actually think I'm going to put them here. The thing about INTJs and what they will find funny is things that are actually logical, you see. Because the ENTJ over here, the difference between these two is the ENTJ has irrational logic. So they're going to find logical incongruencies and stupid shit funny. Where the INTJ is going to be like, this does not make sense. It does not compute. There is no humor here. I will go elsewhere. You have to make a really logical joke for the INTJ to laugh. Or something that is so stupid and absurd that they might find it funny. That makes no sense at all. Absolutely no sense. Then they'll find that funny. But yes, witty people, yeah, they can be pretty funny. There are INTJ comedians as well. Just letting you know. And then, yeah, we have the two NE DOMs. Okay. Yeah, we have memes like this. Yeah, they're probably the funniest. They have irrational intuition, so they're constantly looking for jokes, how to keep themselves occupied from going insane a lot of the time. But their humor is different a lot of the time. Can be different. They both make up the highest percentage of comedians as well. ENTPs, I can't think of many, but there are many. Jim Carl, I think that's his name. And then you have ENFPs like Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, Jimmy Carr, that's who I was thinking of. George Carlin and Robin Williams and things like that. So yeah, let's talk about the differences between these two, because whenever there's an ENFP with a high TE, they think of them as an ENTP because they are just so logical. The thing about ENFPs is they prefer their TE, so they will make jokes a lot. So with the ENTP, they probably have the perfect cognitive setup to make a joke. They have dominant NE, so that's looking for the outlier of the joke, like, oh, Twitter, I could use this for humor. Oh, you guys can't see that. They'll see this and be like, oh, I can use this for a joke. Oh, I can use this for a joke. And then they'll make an association with it, right? And then they have TI, which thinks about it and how it relates to all of these. So they might be like, oh, I love 152 people love this list, and then they'll make a joke out of that. And then they have FE to grip the audience and not say something that goes over cultural standards, right? That harmonizes it a little bit and charms the audience. And they have NE, of course, to always make new jokes. Then with the ENFP, you have a cognitive setup that is more relatable in terms of their humor, and is probably better at telling stories and getting people captivated into who they are whilst telling a story, because with the ENTP, it's a little bit more detached with their humor. But with the ENFP, it's more like you're listening to an actual person just going about life. You know what I mean? So with the ENFP, they have that same, thing where they'll be like, oh, poop emoji, and then they'll make a joke out of that. But then they have FI, so it's like, how does this poop emoji make me feel? Maybe I have to take a shit right now, That's kind of how an ENFP thinks a little bit more, because it more pertains to who they are. But when an ENFP develops their TE highly, they will be like, why the hell is this poop emoji here? They'll say something like that. I'm in analytical mode right now. But yes, they still are constantly making jokes, and studies have shown that ENFPs their NE, it's just as high as ENTP, but they are more intuitive. So they have a whole pattern recognition that makes them funny. But yes, personally, I think ENTP has a better cognitive set to be funny, but they are quite interchangeable with humor. People might bounce between the two a lot. ENTPs will probably make more jokes, but they won't hit as much. And then the ENFP will probably make a few jokes that hit the audience harder, So yeah, this is the list. Yeah, I'm happy with this list, I think. Yeah, I think this list is pretty good. Yeah, these MBTI videos are super easy. These tier list videos are super easy to make. And I know a fair bit about MBTI. So I'm just kind of conveying my opinions right now. Please do like and subscribe if you like these kind of videos, and I will improve the quality of my videos soon. I'm planning to get a face cam. I'm planning to get a few other things, and more software. I'm also going to start editing my videos more. So, yes. Thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure. PhD Dad out.